हरे कृष्णा। तो सभी भक्तों का स्वागत है दामोदर मास की एक एकादशी को, रमा एकादशी। बहुत ही पवित्र दिन है और भगवत गीता के ऊपर हम चर्चा करेंगे। 2.50। 2.50। तो सभी तैयार है? मेरे पीछे दोहराइए, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकीम् कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। गोविंदाय नमो नमः। गोविंदाय नमो नमः। अध्याय 2 श्लोक क्रमांक 50। जो मैं हिंदी में शेयर करता हूँ उसमें गड़बड़ है। या। बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह उभे सukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva yogaḥ karmasu kauśalam बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva karmasu kauśalam
बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीहा
बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह
सukṛta-duṣkṛte
ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte
yujyasva
tasmād yogāya yujyasva
kauśalam
karmasu kauśalam बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva yogaḥ karmasu kauśalam बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva yogaḥ karmasu kauśalam बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva yogaḥ karmasu kauśalam
बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह
बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह
उभे सukṛta-duṣkṛते
ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte
तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्व
tasmād yogāya yujyasva
योगकर्मसु कौशलम्
karmasu kauśalam। हरे कृष्ण।
बोधि
बोलिए।
बोधियुक्तो
बुद्धि-युक्तो जहातीह
ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte
ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte
tasmād yogāya yujyasva
tasmād yogāya yujyasva
yoga karmasu kauśalam
karmasu kauśalam. Hare Krishna. Translation word to word. बुद्धि-युक्त भक्ति में लगा रहने वाला जहाती मुक्त हो सकता है यह इस जीवन में उभे दोनों सुकृत दुष्कृते अच्छे तथा बुरे फल तस्मात् अतः योगाय भक्ति के लिए युजस्व इस तरह लग जाओ योगः कृष्ण भावनामृत कर्मसु समस्त कर्मों में कौशलम कुशलता कला। अनुवाद तात्पर्य वैसे भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद के श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। मेरे पीछे बोलिए। भक्ति में संलग्न मनुष्य इस जीवन में ही अच्छे तथा बुरे कार्यों से अपने को मुक्त कर लेता है। अतः योग के लिए प्रयत्न करो क्योंकि सारा कार्य कौशल यही है। तात्पर्य पढ़ोगे?
Purport. Since time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated the various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. One's ignorance can be removed by the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, which teaches one to surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna in all respects and become liberated from the chained victimization of action and reaction, birth after birth. Arjuna is therefore advised to act in Krishna consciousness, the purifying process of resultant action.
हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। 2.50. So we are in the process of this coming from Bahushaka Buddhi to yes, single focused Buddhi, which is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So in this process, we have completed from 2.43, 2.40 to 2.49, right? And 2.50 is today. Today we are taking up 2.50. So last time we took 2 shlokas. Can we have a quick recap on that? 48 and 49, right? Yeah. 48 was the first time where Krishna defined what is yoga. So, and what was that yoga? Yoga was samatvam, right? Equanimity towards all, right? Yeah, equanimities from, dualities of life. Yogastha kuru karmani. Sangham tyaktvā dhananjaya siddhyo asiddhya samo bhutva samatvam yogyachyate. So, samatvam from what?
Win or
Win or loss, yes. Siddhyo asiddhyo meaning was what? Siddhya asiddhyo was what? Yeah, success or failure. Okay, so jeet or victory or anything, success or failure. And sangham tyaktvā dhananjaya, that we have to give up attachment. We have to give up attachment from this duality, yeah, right? That, of winning or losing. So we have to give up attachment and have an equanimity towards all. That was the first definition of yoga given. And anything else you remember from that?
if you achieve samatvam, you will achieve the higher consciousness in the spiritual one.
Yeah, okay. No, so this samatvam is generally used for the material aspects, right? So if you understand samatvam in material aspect, in this material world, all the things, when you compare and when you see equally all, like a dog or a cow or a human being, when you see them all equally, like, they are having different bodies, but then when you see them equally, physically you cannot say them, they are all equal. But when you see them at the spiritual level, they seem to be equal because all are having the jivas inside who are baddha in some kind of body, and Paramatma is also sitting within that. Actually, that is what is the spiritual level kind of understanding. But we start understanding from the material aspect so that we can understand and we can perceive and pursue the spiritual, right?
See, in both the shlokas, Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya. Right?
Yes.
The first one is that we talk about the material stuff, right?
Yes. Yajasuka and all that, yes.
I think the second one, it is okay, he has accumulated, all the shastra and the
Yes.
other, tools that he has gained.
Yes.
And he's being reminded.
Krupana, he's being
reminded to use this in this situation. So
yes.
It's accumulation of wealth, but I think it's the deployment of wealth.
Deployment of wealth. Yeah, he has accumulated the wealth and he is not willing to use that wealth, which is that he was called as Krupana also. And what else?
Example for equanimity, jahātīha.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Even Vanar. So, anything. Rama did not discriminate between the small squirrel's work as well as the Vanara's work. All were equal in front of Rama. One he rewarded there itself and others he rewarded in the next yuga, that is in this Damodar. And Yavaram karma, that was also one important point. Durena Yavaram karma, you have to keep away from abominable activities using your buddhi. So he is telling Arjuna, keep away from these abominable activities and in Krishna conscious activity, that is what using your buddhi, and in that consciousness you don't become a krupana, that is don't become a miser. So keep durena yavaram karma, I referred to karma kanda, the sakam karma of that part, so when you which is sakam karma is total tuchya work, that's what it was said, like when you do sakam karma, it is as good as, like just above the animal level. You're doing it for your own instincts. So sakam karma comes in that format. So that is where it is described as if you those kind of karma, if you want to just go to the svarga, then that is if your aim is only to go to Swarga and enjoy, then that is a Hyavaram karma. Why do you have to do that? Today and all this we'll come to know more clearly, when we discuss all this. So today we'll define the second level of yoga. So we'll come to more clarity that, why he's asking, you leave that Sakam karma, because I fight and I go to heaven, this is Sakam karma. Like, okay, even Nishkam way may if you do, then probably you may go to some other loka also. That is where he's asking to do it in form of a Buddhi Yoga. Apart from that, anything else? Specific point?
So you see, the second one, this kauśalam.
Yeah, now it will come kauśalam. Yeah, second one is, yeah, that's it. So samadhi. So today is that second kauśalam part. So that is the kauśalam. So buddhi-yukto jahātīha ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte tasmād yogāya yujyasva karmasu kauśalam. So a man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. This is the English translation. So we'll understand word by word and then we'll get up to Hare Krishna. Welcome. Buddhi-yukto. Means like buddhi-yukto means with your intelligence, right? This we have been understood. So buddhi-yukto with your intelligence. Engage in buddhi-yukta, and that is where Srila Prabhupada has written it in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness, we always use our buddhi and we do work as that's what. So that's why Prabhupada said Bhakti Yoga. So buddhi-yukta, Prabhupada has written Bhakti Yoga, that is connecting using your intelligence. So Krishna is continuing to talk about this intelligence to practice yoga. So when one is connected with intelligence, he says jahātīha. Jahāti is what? Jahāti meaning get rid of. Jahāti means get rid of. Iha means two things we can say. In this life as well as in this world. Both things are common. We can say in this life or we can say in this world. So get rid of in this world what? Get rid of what? So he says ubhe, both. Both sukṛta-duṣkṛte, both good and bad results. In Krishna consciousness, or say using your buddhi, connect to Krishna, practice yoga and get rid of your both good and bad results. And tasmād yogāya yujyasva. When you do that, in this way, when you do that, when you connect those to yoga, when you connect yourself to that process of yoga, and what is that process? He says yoga karmasu kauśalam. So today he gives a second process or definition, we can call it as that yoga is what is karmasu kauśalam, doing karma with kaushal. So expertise, art of doing work, we say no. Art of living, of course, but then art of living, we don't practice art of living, we practice art of dying. That we have to, our death is a real test, so we have to face that. We have to live anyway, we are, every day we live, we are nearing towards death. So yoga karmasu kauśalam. So this is an art or expertise of work. So, yes, Prabhu.
Keep referring to this chart.
Yeah. We'll come into this.
So, see, we are also looking for some good result. Okay, forget the material side. Because saying don't look for good or bad results. Okay, but our soul is still looking to elevate, right? So that is which is seen as good.
Yes, no doubt.
We are, striving for good. I mean, this whole ladder you're talking about is we're trying to climb more.
Yeah, so that's what. So what is good in that you have to understand. Everything is not good because going to Swarga and having Somrasa and coming back is not good.
No, I understand, but this is not context-wise here. In this sloka, he's saying sukṛta-duṣkṛte is.
Yeah. He says get rid of both good and bad results because both good and bad are binding. You have to take birth for even to enjoy the good results. And you have to take birth even to enjoy bad results. That's why he says.
But he's saying that you don't look for the good result. Okay, if you do certain things,
that is where that.
It's not, you are not getting it. It's being given to you.
Okay.
I'm asking, is it the difference?
No. When you do Chaturmas, it is automatically given to you. For example, when you are doing today Ekadashi, automatically good result is given to you. So now how could you get rid of it? By using your intelligence. You don't have to worry. Anyway, when you have done Ekadashi, you had Faral or you did not have Faral, did not have Anna there itself, you have done Ekadashi, you have accumulated good result. No doubt about it. We are doing Chaturmas, we have accumulated good results. So again, it is that's what we'll understand. What is that art? How do you relinquish or how do you do? That is what is the art we'll understand. Okay. So whatever be the case, you do any kind of work, that is good work or bad work, it does come in. We have to make that good work just dovetail to other. That is Krishna. Bad work we should not do because he has already said, keep away from the abominable activities. But even from good work, you don't get attached to it. But otherwise, you'll have to take birth. This is the whole process. So you have to know how to dovetail that. So yoga, karmasu, kauśalam. So we have to understand buddhi-yukto we have already discussed a number of times. We'll come to jahātīha. Jaha is to get rid of. One has to get rid of this both good and bad results, as I said you. So both are binding on us. Both are binding on us. So good karmas, in fact, bind us more dangerously than bad karmas. How many of you will agree? Good karmas actually bind us more dangerously than doing bad karmas. That doesn't mean that we have to do bad karmas.
Yes.
Because that should not be done. Krishna already said that. So, because giving a good karma and being attached to that good karma will certainly take you to those destinations where the lifespans is much, much higher. 9th chapter will come to know, as we grow and go above the Swarga Lokam Vishalam, above and above, the lifespan increases as you go up to Brahma. So today, Earth has passed so many years, and at Brahma, 100 years is 311 trillion years, out of which we are in the 51st year of Brahma. So, and Brahmaji, if he has to get rid of that, he has to still more pass his 49 years of age, and then only he can get free and go to Godhead. But of course, he is handling the post there, so he has to be there. So, good results are in a way more binding. Because if you have done very, very good works only, okay, 100 years in heaven. Now imagine 100 into 365 into 365. नहीं समझ आ रहा अपना यहाँ का एक दिन 6 months in heaven.
Also what you do there, no, you can have 360.
Yeah, from there again you can go up. That's what I said. No, there it is not ending.
Why is it even more binding?
Because that's where you have to take birth. You have to take a Swargiya body.
Good result, Swarga. Swarga, 100 years, again come back.
Okay, you don't have to come back. Although if you go up, further more up, okay, further more up. But then you have to get continuous take birth.
But you're using bind you more. You're using it bind in a negative connotation or in a neutral or a positive.
It will get us attracted more to sense gratification.
And again it will come in our swabhava again. More and more enjoyment because more Swarga is more and more of enjoyment. The more we enjoy, our swabhava gets attracted to that. Again we come down and we again follow the same karma-kanda way and want to again enjoy this 3 modes and again go back to Swarga. And this is how Krishna will say that you are like sitting on a giant wheel rotating up and down. So you get attached to it. Bad work, probably you may not be that attached. That's why I said more dangerous. I've already felt this. I don't want to. I'll do some good karmas now. Okay. So, but your pravritti is still doing a bad karma, then you will keep on doing. The question is, so that's why I said it will be more dangerous because good results, sometimes people are more wanting to do more. That is why it will be more binding. And that's why this good karmas also, whatever be the case, you say good karma and bad karma, both are clutches. Okay, good karmas are clutches made up of gold and bad karmas are clutches made up of iron. You don't want to wear iron rings in your hand. Gold rings you will wear. Bangles के रूप में कुछ भी कर लेंगे ना. वो संकेल लो अगर वो उसका डाले गोल्ड का तो वो भी अच्छा लगेगा. Gold कभी बेच के खा लेंगे. So good karmas are like made up of gold clutches and bad karmas are made up of iron clutches. So both are clutches ultimately. But then good is, that's why reason it is more. That's why he said, so get rid of this, he says, jahātīha. Iha means what? Iha is, as I said, to be understood in 2 times, that is in this lifetime and in this world. Of course, it is in Prabhupada is given only in this lifetime, right? Prabhupada is given here, it's in this life only, in this lifetime. So Srila Prabhupada, that's why he starts, like in this time memorial, we have taken and accumulated so many, various reactions of good and bad work. And, we do not know how many births we have taken. He is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position because the swabhav has turned into enjoyment mode. And he's attached to that enjoyment mode, and as a result, he's just enjoying and coming back, again doing the same kind of punya karmas and going back and enjoying and again. So that is where, and forgetting that actually he doesn't belong to this world because he as a Atma is a part and parcel of Paramatma who is from the spiritual world. And he is attached to this material world. So we have to understand. That's why that, and now, how is this happening? So we should understand that, these karmas are of three types. Karmas are of three types. So what is the first karma? First karma is sanchit karma. We call it a sanchit karma, the accumulated karmas from the past life, right? Accumulated karmas from the past life. They are like, a data stored in a hard drive. It can be destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. It can be only retrieved. Okay, hard disk crashes and all those, that's a different issue in the material world. But these are the properly stored data in the hard disk. So, and these, if they are not destroyed from that hard disk, or if they are not used and destroyed, they may haunt you for millions of years. They may haunt you for millions of years. So that is sanchit karma. Second karma is kriyayaman karma. Kriyayaman karma is out of your present actions. What you do out of your present actions. These, if not destroyed in this life only, for example, हमने कुछ किया है, उसको repent करना है, या उसको ये करना, तो if you have not destroyed it in this life itself, they will, after this life, they will add back to our sanchit karma. Okay. So the kriyayaman karmas would either phase off in this lifetime only, or they will have to accumulate for the coming lifetime. And then the third karma is prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma? Fructified karma, we call it as. Fructified karma. Karma which has been fructified or shortlisted for using this. You have taken the birth and some of your karmas have been fructified. You will have to face them now in this life. So that is the fructified karma, and that is how we say, Prabhu, श्लोक ऊपर कर दो प्रभु, उसका मुख ऊपर कर दो, थोड़ा ऊपर कर दो, और 24-25 कर दो, कुछ वो चलेगा टेम्परेचर. So 25-26 कर दो, चलेगा. So we suddenly
repeat that.
prarabdha karma, fructified future karmas. Fructified future karmas, we can call it as. Fructified in the sense, when I say, like, they are about due and they have to be used this year. So they will come through. Yeah, they will start giving result. The moment the child is 18, he will automatically start falling into line. उसने जो कर्म याद करके रखे हैं, वो फ्रक्टिफाई सामने आएंगे. हमने कोई उसको कुछ आइडिया नहीं दिया, हमने कुछ उसको नॉलेज नहीं दिया है, अभी अचानक से वो ऐसा करना शुरू करेगा. So, कुछ सामने आया, उसको अचानक उसका हार्ड डिस्क के उसको रिट्राइव हो जाएगा. So they are fructified karmas, which will come out. भोगने के लिए तैयार रहो. They have been already shortlisted for you. Fructified karmas. Or we can call it for execution.
परिणाम लेते हैं इस जन्म
Yes.
कंटिन्यूअसली,
हाँ.
तो क्या ये संचित कर्म सारे डिस्ट्रॉय हो सकते हैं?
हाँ. So this is what, एक तो हरिनाम के ऊपर भी आगे भी हम चर्चा करेंगे. We should not do हरिनाम. हाँ.
वो जो श्लोक है, नाम संकीर्तन जैसे,
नहीं, वो तो है, प्रभु लेने का नाम है. But we should not do harinam thinking that we are accumulating punya karmas. That is one of the aparadha. When we do this 10, actually we should read those 10 offenses every day. And that is where we'll come to know that, if you're doing that Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is for your purification. Don't think it that you're doing it as an overlap to counter negate your papa karmas and get some punya karmas so that the equates and all those. No.
Yeah, you're looking for a result otherwise. Like you
Huh?
positive transaction.
Yeah.
The transaction.
Yeah, I know. So that's where in the end we say Krishnarpanamastu. Even after our 16 rounds are done, in the end we conclude with saying Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu.
Prabhu, that up to which age child bad karma will not come to his account? Even that thing, age 9 or 10?
5 years.
5 years only.
5 years.
Yeah.
Thank you. All.
बेसिकली वो अब क्या हो जाता है कि पंडित को जाके बोलोगे तो 15 साल बोलेंगे, क्योंकि क्या हो जाता है, कुछ बच्चों के कर्म पिता को टच नहीं होते हैं, तो 15 साल की भी बात बताई गई है ज्योतिष शास्त्र में. ठीक है. वो कौमार अवस्था तक जाता है जब तक. हाँ होता है प्रभु, नहीं कुछ तो होता ही है, मीन्स लाइक
आणी-मंडप जो एक
ना देखो प्रभु, कुछ बच्चे के ग्रह कुछ ज्यादा ही खराब है तो वो तो उसको अभी पता नहीं चलेगा, बिकॉज वो कार्य नहीं कर रहा है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल वो जॉब नहीं कर रहा है, कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है, पढ़ाई में इतना स्ट्रांग नहीं रहेगा, वो बात की बात है, लेकिन वो प्रॉब्लम वहां पे नहीं आएगा। यदि उसको कुछ है तो वो कुछ उसके पोजीशन के हिसाब से, पिताजी माताजी, इट्स अ वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स, विल नॉट गो इनटू दैट सब्जेक्ट। जो ज्योतिष शास्त्र बता रहा मैं वो बता रहा
नहीं,
हूँ।
ज्योतिष से नहीं, ये जो आणी-मंडप जो उनको ये मिला कि आप ये काम किए थे इसलिए आपको ये मिला, तो उन्होंने बोला एज कितना था मेरा, तो ये एज था।
अच्छा
तो
ठीक
ये
है,
एज तक उन्होंने बोला कि जमराज आप इस एज तक
ना,
कोई भी काम
भक्ति
करा,
भक्ति
इस
आपने
एज-
कहाँ छोड़ दी, उस एज पे वापस आके आप पकड़ते हो, ये बात बोली जाती है। तो भक्ति आपने जिस एज में छोड़ दी थी, उस एज में वापस आपको पकड़ के आगे बढ़ना पड़ता है। तो कोई लेट में भक्ति में आता है तो वही उस एज में वो छोड़ दिया था, इसलिए उस एज में आया था। तो अनलेस कोई गुरु अगर सामने मिल जाए और उसको बचपन से लगा दे, बचपन में वो पकड़ लेता है, तो उसकी सिद्धि हो जाती है। Okay, we'll come back to our this thing. So we'll come back. You understood, Prabhu? 3 types of karmas: sanchit karma, kriyayaman karma, and prarabdha karma. So which means that the karmas. So until we exhaust all these karmas, like everything, to exhaust all those karma. In the suppose you have left with very less karma, those karmas will come up to you as an prarabdha karma. And if you have not attached to any kind of work, and if you are using your buddhi, if you have been doing work, then you can end up this life as your last life also. And for that, that's what we say later on, initiation will come. Like, Guru's ashraya has to be there, and that is where he has the power to burn all your previous karmas. So and that's a reason, I think so, while discussing the Ajamila pastime, yesterday we were discussing इनका कर रहे थे अपने, हम लोग गजेंद्र का कर रहे थे एग्जाम्पल अजामिल के अंदर। what happened for the case of Ajamil? So like he was a very good Brahmana son, and he was also going for what? He was going for taking flowers for whom? For the Lord only. But in the forest, he saw a Vaishya associating with some thief, and he got attached to that. And he fell into that activity. Being a Brahmana, doing good karma also, he got attracted to such kind of thing, and he could, fall down in his life. So, Kechid Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana Andham Dhundavati Karchena Niharam Iva Bhaskara. So, he lost his this thing. But to compare that, here Bhagavatam refers Krishna as the sun, and the ignorance of attachment as the fog, dhund, जिसको बोलते हैं ना अंधम धुंधवती कारचेना. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions, and no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate the fog of ray by its rays. So as soon as the sun comes out, the fog disappears in some time. So smog will not disappear, but fog will disappear. Smog is the pollution content which comes in. And if it is a natural fog due to cold weather, it will get disappeared the moment sun appears. So all this sanchit karmas, all this prarabdha karmas, and all those can be destroyed if you just do kevalaya vasudeva parayanam. If you do kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayana. Kechit means if you just do little bit of bhakti to Vasudeva Parayana, that is what this Deepadan is also. It says the other, that is Puranas, when they refer that Deepdan, that is where you get 1000 times, and your Sumeru Parvat type of sins also get destroyed. We should not do sinful activities, because if we do sinful activities during this Damodar, we get 1000 times results of good deeds. At the same time, we will get 1000 results of bad deeds also. That is why for a new person, we try to make them, okay, do this, at least he'll try to gain some good deeds. And we always say, don't do bad karma. And that is what Krishna is also saying, be away from bad karma. And using your buddhi, you do this Krishna conscious karma, which is the art of. So now that is iha. So we need to, what we need to do, we need to do yoga with Krishna and destroy the sanchit karma. So that's the reason in 4.37 Krishna says, a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes. है ना? क्या वो यथा ध्वंसिक समिद्धोग्निर भस्मात् सात् कुरुते अर्जुना, यही है 4.37 है. So Arjuna, the fire of knowledge burns to ashes all reactions to material activities. The fire of knowledge. Knowledge की अग्नि आपके सारे material activities को जला के राख कर सकती है. And you are getting this knowledge through what? Through Shastras. And how that has to be acquired? Through a Guru Shishya Parampara. Evam Parampara Praptam. And that is where do all this karma under the guidance of a Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So, and Bhagavad Gita is also an Gita-upanishad. Srimad Bhagavatam, what this shloka I said was from Srimad Bhagavatam. That is also, it refers to the same thing. So, Veda Upanishad, they will make you free from all karmas by just directing you to Vasudeva Parayana. So, they give you that knowledge. So, make use of that knowledge and get rid of this good and bad karmas. And now, iha, if you consider it in this material world, in general, people may, interpret it as, after death, nothing is there, everything finishes with life. We have spoken about this, but then, when the word comes again, we have to say this. So when you say iha as this world, like Charvak used to say, who has seen the future life? Just enjoy your life. So in such case, you should know that people are attached to enjoyment of the fruits. People are attached to the enjoyments of the fruits, therein for their sensual satisfaction. भाई मुझे आम बहुत पसंद है, तो आम घड़ी घड़ी खाऊंगा, मैं बहुत खाऊंगा, वो भी satisfaction ही है ना? So आप खाते हो तो जो भी हो, reaction will continue. Reaction will continue unless you know how it can be relinquished, how that reaction can be cut. है ना? आप आम लेके आए, आप कट करके खा लिए, आपने अपनी इंद्रिय तृप्ति के लिए, मुझे आम बहुत पसंद है, मैं लाया, कट करके खा लिया. ठीक है, the reaction will come because what has come with that arm, what consciousness has come with that arm will enter you and you will get that reactions. When you know that, by offering it to Krishna, this will become prasad. I offer it to Krishna and have that same arm. You have just dovetailed and done the same activity. So using your buddhi, you have done some art of, eating. Prabhu was saying last time, like, अपने लिए खाना करना है और कृष्णा का नाम लेना है. Exactly, that is what exactly. Initially, we'll have to start off with that. Then only our consciousness would come into pure. हम ये मिश्रित भक्ति बोलते हैं इसीलिए. That when you come to bhakti detailing also, केवल नाम के लिए करना, मिश्रित भक्ति करना, and all types of activities will come through. So we start with this mishrit bhakti. It's not harm. It will not harm you. But when you start having that, automatically consciousness would get clearer and clearer and clearer. So unless you know how to relinquish it, you will continue to go in reaction. And that is where Prabhupada writes, a Krishna conscious person, because of his knowledge through the Shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, knows the effects of karma. And as such, he relinquishes them by offering to Krishna. That I brought this for Krishna. So in yoga with Krishna, using his buddhi, like, using his buddhi, that, this is for Krishna, because soul का ये इच्छा रहती है भगवान की सेवा करूं, तो सोल की इच्छा है, माइंड ने सोचा आम खरीदना है, बुद्धि ने बोला कृष्णा के लिए खरीदो, और आप लेके आए, ऑफर किए कृष्णा को. So so that is the reason, like, he's doing his work with buddhi-yukto. Whereas a general person, he does it for his own material activity. He does not relinquish it for Krishna. Okay. Then that is where the karma start accumulating. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm just
Open 18.12. 18-12 You think after this life नहीं होता है तो फिर क्या होता है कृष्णा से अनिष्टम इष्टम मिश्रम च त्रिविधम कर्मणा फलम that is what is the shloka फलम त्यक्त्वा read the translation जोर से
जो त्याग
1 2
जो त्यागी नहीं है उसके लिए इच्छित इष्ट अनिच्छित अनिष्ट तथा मिश्रित ये तीनों प्रकार के कर्म फल मृत्यु के बाद मिलते हैं
मृत्यु के बाद मिलते
जो
हैं
सन्यासी है उन्हें ऐसे फल का सुख दुख नहीं भोगना पड़ता।
So relinquish, we are moving towards that, right? We are started from Veda and we'll go to Nirvedam. Okay, and become sannyas, and sannyas is what is, that's what will be explained, that whatever is your atma's desire should become your mind desire, and that is what is sannyas. So when you do this, when you are into this traveling system, you think by mera karma to kuch hoga nahi, with this life, my death, everything will be done, all karmas will get left here only, I will go. So that is where Bhagavad Gita in the 18:12 is saying that whatever your karmas, whether they have not been full, even if in this lifetime, if you have not renounced it, then this threefold actions, that is, whatever your desirable, undesirable, mixed, all this will accrue to you after death. Will accrue to you after death. So that's where exactly life after that exists. Will accrue to you after death, and it will get to your sanchit karma. And then it will come someday as prarabdha karma. And until that prarabdha is finished, you cannot get free and go to Krishna. If you want to really get prarabdha completed, then there is a process. That is where Guru's thing comes in. That is where initiation comes in. And that is where that prarabdha gets destroyed. And thereafter, we should see to it that, we do not do yavaram karma or abominable karma. So this is the whole logic behind that when I say all this. Okay. Tasmād yogāya yujyasva. Now, next line is Tasmād yogāya yujyasva of the our shloka now. So, Tasmād yogāya yujyasva means therefore practice yoga. Tasmād is that's what, therefore practice yoga. Very important. We have to practice yoga. So, Krishna has already said that, please do buddhi-yoga and become free from good and bad results. So, we have to do yoga. So, when on the basis of karma-kanda, Krishna had already said before that, there is no much of fruit. Like, okay, you will get swarga and all those, he said. But again, he said, there is no much of labha because they are all temporary. You will have to come back again here. Therefore, he is proposing this second types of yoga, which is the buddhi yoga. That is where he said, doing buddhi yoga, you will be free from all kinds of sinful activities. So, you may think n number of ways, Baba, nothing, I don't want to do that particular act of buddhi yoga, but I will try to do whatever which is not papa yoga. I'll try it n number of ways that, I don't do karma which is bad, which will affect me. You may try n number of things. Okay, I'll do this, but whatever you do, Krishna will say, Kehana karmano gati. You will never understand what karma will fructify in what way, because even manasa karmana will also help you out. You are not, okay, you may be very good at mouth, everything, but in the mind, if you are thinking bad of that person, and at least on the mouth, being bad is much better than in the mind sometimes. You mentally, you talk very ill about that person, and physically, you talk ill about any person. Physical talking person and getting finished off there itself is much better than taking it mentally. मन से और ज्यादा ये होता है. So that's the reason Krishna says, Gehana karmano gati. Don't fall into the intricacies of karma. What I am saying, you just listen. Tasmād yogāya yujyasva. Just do tasmād yogāya yujyasva. You will never be able to understand what that karma is, how, how it will fructify this, that. Leave it to me, he says. So, he who knows about all this, and all the deeds, how they fructify, of course, quite a few things will get clarified when we go into 3rd, 4th chapters, when we take up. But then, he is giving you a clear solution. This is the summary chapter. So, he is giving you a clear solution. We should adopt it. Of course, Krishna was present during Mahabharata, so he is guiding it to Arjuna in that very easily. But for us, what is that? Our same thing, Bhagavad Gita, what is spoken by Krishna is available in the form of book now. Okay, Srila Prabhupada has given word-to-word meaning also for us. So we are in much better position to read the same sloka and then understand the meaning. So why should we not move into it? Tasmād yogāya yujyasva. Therefore, we should take this step forward. This reminds me of this Damodar. We have to, that 2 fingers short. One finger is, we have to first put our step forward. Then Krishna's mercy will come. So we have to put our foot forward that, we'll do our karmas in Krishna consciousness. So, tasmād yogāya yujyasva. In 2.30, when we started, he said, yudhāya yujyasva. He used the word, right? Do, for the sake of fighting, just fight. So that time, only I said that, this is the nishkam karma, where he has not specified specifically. मैंने बोला भी था कि अभी यहाँ पे clearly नहीं बोला है, just fight for the sake of fighting meant itself nishkam karma yoga. But today, he is making it very clearly. Tasmād yogāya yujyasva. He is making it very upfront in writing that you do this yoga. That's why Krishna Prabhupada wrote it as bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness. That's why Prabhupada had written, because he had already specified in 2.30. That time he did not boldly speak it there. He said, okay, do it for the sake of fighting, because that time he was discussing karma-kanda. And now when he's come to the spiritual level, explaining you rise up to spiritual level, do this act in spiritual level, when he said you all those, he's making you to, he's wanting you to stay disentangled using buddhi yoga. That is what is the process of doing, that is what we call the art of doing yoga karmasu kauśalam. Okay. So the point that the art of yoga is essentially connection with spiritual reality, and that connection requires some expertise. Okay. You don't say Krishna, then you take a spiritual reality. Okay. Take a spiritual reality, and connecting with that spiritual reality is the art, yoga, karmasu, kauśalam. It's an expertise. So just like an artist who is expert in his field, like electrical engineer will be expert in their field, mechanical engineers will be expert in their field, CAs would be expert in their field. So there are fields which everybody can be expert in their field, respectively, but all cannot be expert in all the fields, right? All cannot be experts in all the fields. Like I cannot be expert in electrical, mechanical, CA. Okay, कभी कोई एक आधा अफलातून निकल जाए, but बड़ा मुश्किल होता है, very difficult. He will end up being अफलातून, he will not be expert. That's what a jack of all trades and master of none. So you become either master of one or become jack of all trades. So अफलातून जो character बोलते हैं. So that's what it is. So now you may think that, now when you think this yoga in a stereotypical way, ki bhai a normal stereotypical way, that, sitting in some pose of asanas, that is yoga, that Mayank Prabhu aaj aaye nahi. So that is, okay, that is one type of yoga. That is one type of yoga for your bodily requirement. Okay, that is one type of yoga. Ramdev Baba has given us, in fact, everybody, Patanjali Yoga Sutra has given us that yoga. It's part of that Ashtanga yoga. Means like that will come in 6th chapter. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam. So 8 stages का एक part है. Means like asan जो है, yoga asans जो करना है, वो एक part है. So it is one of the process which is again connected to our bodily action. So that is only an external type of yoga. We can see superficially external type of yoga. But understand here that the yoga is the essence of spiritual connection, and that spiritual connection is just not like mechanical connection. Liya bhai plug liya, uske andar socket mein dal diya, electricity aa gayi. It is not that kind of mechanical connection, or you take a hammer and hit it on the bolt to fix the plank. It is not something which is mechanical. Okay. And that, or you do some Kapal Bharti and you will get connected to Krishna. No, it is not at all. You will be okay, feel good. I am also doing nowadays. So, okay, you may feel good for your health and all those, but it is not a clear-cut connection with your consciousness, spiritual consciousness. Okay, it can be material consciousness also. That's why it's not a clear cut. So our consciousness actually keeps changing based on the environment around us, right? Prakriti ke hisab se, our consciousness today, okay, right now we are sitting here. The moment we go out of here, we may drive the car. Our consciousness will change to the driving of the car. So our consciousness keeps changing as the Prakriti, as the around us keeps changing, and that affects us. We cannot be inattentive while driving. We can be attentively sitting here listening to katha, but we cannot be attentively listening katha and driving, or chanting and driving, because we may end up in trouble. So that's the reason we have to be full-fledged, devoted to that particular thing. So in such changing situations, both internally and externally, how can we keep our consciousness connected to Krishna all the time? Can we freeze our consciousness to Krishna? No, right? It has to be some kind of dynamic connection. It has to be some kind of dynamic connection. It cannot be like, okay, this is this. No, it has to be some kind of dynamic connection which has to change with the environment which we enter into. So this dynamic connection is also an art. So we may have many, we may be engaged to so many solutions which may not be able to think. Okay, like for example, we live in this technocentric world, right? Everything for us is technology. अंगूठे के दम के ऊपर सब कुछ हम टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर हम लोग ये है, like and scriptures say us about Vedic lifestyle, right? So Vedic lifestyle in general is what? Simple living, right? It could be more of a village life, or it could be more of a gram life. Okay, there are situations mentioned in the Vedas which also deal with multi-story complexes. Okay, when you come in Bhagavatam also, our Muni, Karda Muni, built a 100-floor palatial house for his wife. And in fact, that house was not on the ground. It was on the aeroplane. And he traveled across. So there are situations, that's not. But when we talk of mostly Vedic life, our mind and everything, comes to that simple living kind of thing. So that way, amongst the technocentric world, what happens is, how can we be Krishna centric? So this is where exactly you cannot teach guideline from the books. Okay, there are everything mentioned in that books. Okay, like making of vimanas is also mentioned. You had Pushpak Vimana, but that ran on a different technology. Today we think of running on fuel and all those. That was running through some different technology. Today is through some different technology. So we exactly, how do we connect this to be Krishna centric? So there's no specific guideline. So, we have to understand that's where that, some person would be very good in kirtan, some person would be very good in speaking, some person would be very good at work, some person may be very good at cooking, some person may be very good at doing sevas, archanas, very good, one may be very good negotiator, buying capacity and all that. Everybody has different levels of expertise, and that expertise one has to use to connect to Krishna. यू कैनॉट ड्रॉ भाई वो 16 माला कर रहा है, वो तो पूरे वेदों को एक दिन में पढ़ ले रहा है, पूरे भगवत गीता को एक दिन में पढ़ लिया, 1 घंटे में पढ़ लिया, 2 घंटे में पढ़ लिया, मैं नहीं पढ़ सकता हूं. नॉट नेसेसरी. योर फील्ड ऑफ एक्सपर्टनेस कुड बी समथिंग एल्स. ट्राई टू कनेक्ट दैट टू कृष्णा. Try to connect that to Krishna. So even in our work, we see there is hand of Krishna somewhere or the other. How many of you see, I don't know, but then, I generally see. Maybe Krishna is willing this way, but okay. Even if everybody doesn't see, there is a hand of Krishna, but we never know. So how that hand has to be realized is yoga karmasu kauśalam. Even for a person who is practicing bhakti, buddhi yoga is an extensible term, which extends from your doing your normal routine work like karma yoga, like sun comes out every day. He's a big karma yogi. He will come out on time. So doing our routine work as karma yoga to doing bhakti yoga, we think that, it's only in sitting in front of Krishna or listening to Krishna. It is quite variation. So one has to, it is only at the level of Atma Gyan when it comes to, we say we are doing Karma Yoga, and when it comes to Bhagavad Gyan, we say we are doing Bhakti Yoga. That is what is our general tendency. So even if one is practicing at Karma Yoga level, then how to stay detached with that Karma Yoga, which doesn't entangle you to any kind of action, is the matter of skill, is the matter of art, and that is what is yoga karmasu kauśalam. You should not think that yoga is the only path of transcendence as a stereotypical thing, or by just following this rule we will be able to do this yoga. No. It is actually individual's artistic expression of his devotion. It is individual's artistic expression of his devotion. That is what is this rule. According to our own individual situation, according to our inspiration what we get, according to inclinations what we have, we always find ways in which we can spiritualize our work by connecting it to Krishna. So this artistical element is the yoga. Now, the artistry is not just in terms of how much materially you are expert in doing the work, but the artistry is that how much spiritually you are conscious in doing that work. How much artistically you are spiritualized, to do that work. How you are inclined to do that. Krishna is very simply saying here, he did not mess up all this, what I am telling you all this. He has just simply said in today's shloka that, explaining that it is the art of work in the work. Okay. And he is not saying anything about remembering numbers, remembering, thousands of, sometimes being a chartered accountant, they expect that I should remember the whole of numbers. Oh, July ke month mein, May ke month mein, April ke month mein kya hua tha, they expect that everything should be known to us. If you are a finance man and if you don't remember, what is the use? Sometimes, okay, it comes to us. Even sometimes we tell our juniors, this month, it cannot be more than 6 million, I'll say, that is by the outer knowledge, I can say it cannot be more than 6, and how it is coming 12 million. So we have to go through it and say, okay, the entry was posted twice, or, okay, but this thing had come extra. This was belonging to some previous year expense. So we'll come to know. Okay. So in this way, Krishna had not said anything that, you remember numbers. So the junior may think, oh, the senior is expert. He knows the numbers by heart. So it is not, it's one at a particular level. So using the intelligence between the matter and the spirit, it is just about that. Discriminating between this world and seeing ultimately there is a world beyond this world, and that world is connected to Krishna is the ultimate spiritual reality, because 15th chapter will come to know. And by spiritual connection, you just do ubhe sukṛta-duṣkṛte. Get rid of this good and bad results. When you do the karma with consciousness to Krishna, you get out of this good and bad results. So we will stay disentangled in this material world and move forward towards the process of liberation. So again, this yoga karmasu kauśalam, it does not require you to renounce your work. छोड़ देने से मतलब नहीं है. Rather, it requires infusion of work with the transcendental skills. Not leaving the work, rather infusion of work with transcendental skills. And this is possible only when you perform work in devotion. Then we can see transcendentally that, connection to Krishna is everything we do. When we do everything in connection to Krishna, we will always stay disentangled. Sometimes we have a negative concoction, like conception about bhakti, that, नहीं नहीं ये तो बहुत सारा rules follow करना पड़ता है, ये करना पड़ता है. We don't want to do bhakti, Baba, somehow or the other, and we will try to do that, हम लोग पाप नहीं करेंगे. That's what I said. So don't get fooled around. Gehna karmano gati, Krishna will anyway say that. But how many of us feel that, नहीं नहीं बाबा बहुत ज्यादा rules follow करना पड़ता है. हाँ, प्रभु जी 16 माला करो बोलते हैं, प्रभु जी 4 रेगुलेटरी नियम फॉलो करो बोलते हैं. So sometimes it feels, quite a few people would feel it like an hassle, right? So यहाँ आते ही माला जप करने बिठा देते हैं, हमको माला करना है नहीं करना है, एक बार जप करने के लिए बिठा देते हैं. So some things are there, sometimes it may count to be a negative feeling. Okay, hassle बोलता is negative feeling. That is actually, I'll say, that is incomplete or dissatisfactory understanding of bhakti. Incomplete or dissatisfactory understanding of bhakti. What happens? I'll just give you an example. So you should understand bhakti in a proper one. Like, for example, a train moves on what? Tracks, right? The tracks are well laid down, connecting one city, say from Hyderabad to Delhi. There is a track which is well laid down between Hyderabad to Delhi. It moves through so-and-so station, and that train has to follow that track, right? Once it is on the track, it has to follow and reach on its destination. Now imagine if the driver wants to move faster. He says, भाई ये तो है ना, यहाँ पे नागपुर के बाद में ये है ना, इधर इटारसी के पास चले जाती है, सीधा रास्ता जाना चाहिए, है ना, I'll reach earlier. If he thinks that way, ये थोड़ा शॉर्ट, ये लॉन्ग कट बना दिया है, ये थोड़ा मीन्स है ना, when you speak specifically Rajasthan, train going from south to Rajasthan, they enter Andhra, they enter Maharashtra, they enter again MP, and then again go towards Gujarat, and then enter Rajasthan. Many of the times the tracks are so complicated, they go in a zigzag manner. फिर somebody बोलते यहाँ से क्यों, दिल्ली से चले आओ, दिल्ली से सीधा, you will reach in, you will save one day. So many things are there. So in that way, if the driver starts thinking, भाई मैं तो अभी ये जो गाड़ी को सीधा दौड़ाता हूँ, चाहे ट्रैक से उतर के दौड़ाऊं, चाहे ट्रैक से ऊपर दौड़ाऊं, मेरे मर्जी से मैं दौड़ाता हूँ, तो व्हाट विल हैपन? So the consequence could be very dangerous. So for him, this railway track is a restriction. Whereas, rather, what will happen if he has destination which is fixed? Rather, the same railway tracks will act as an acceleration to reach the destination. Because by getting down of the tracks, he would end up certainly not reaching. Because what is there on the way, he will not know. So that is the reason for him, it is in the best interest that he should just follow the track and just run on the track, right? So now you think that, similar things, there are rules in bhakti, then you can say these are not the hindrances, rather they are acceleration for me on the path of spiritual success. Everybody has to have a goal, right? We discussed this long back. Everybody has to have goal. राइट, गोल जहां पर भी जाना है ना, यान्ति देवर्वता देवन पितृ यान्ति पितृव्रता, जहां पर भी जाना हो, मैं नहीं बोलने वाला हूँ, मेरे लिए पूछोगे तो मैं तो कृष्णा बोलूंगा, बट आपके ऊपर मैं छोड़ता हूँ. एवरीबॉडी हैज टू हैव अ गोल. सो उस गोल तक जाने के लिए भक्ति विल सर्टेनली हेल्प यू आउट. सो डोंट टेक इट एज ए restriction, which and don't go away from Krishna. In fact, be on the track and come on that this thing, acceleration to Krishna, and that is how you move closer towards Krishna, and that is how you get this opportunity. And this this opportunity as an individual, everybody has their own expertise, and when one see this, we feel inspired and positively see this as an energizing dimension of this bhakti when we follow particular rules. And when we enthuse that with enthusiasm in practicing devotion and doing that mala of 1 mala or 2 mala or 12 mala or 16 mala with that enthusiasm and devotion, then our with offering in our hearts filled with that devotion, then certainly it will reach to Krishna. Every individual in his own way. So we give you broader parameters only that, follow 4 regulatory principles, follow doing 16 round chanting, do book reading, Shastra reading, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and association. These are the 4 things only we say you, so that you will be connected always with the Krishna. कितना टाइम हुआ? एक और ले, 1 बजे तक के लिए. हाँ, नहीं ज्यादा नहीं तो रोक देंगे, ज्यादा नहीं है तो रोक देंगे. किसी को कुछ तकलीफ है तो we'll just read one time only. Okay, 2.51. karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā hi phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣiṇaḥ janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. एक रिपीट कीजिए बस. कोई karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā hi phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣiṇaḥ janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. Hare Krishna. Meanings you all can read. We'll go to translation and purport. Okay. इस तरह भगवत भक्ति में लगे रहकर बड़े बड़े ऋषि मुनि अथवा भक्तगण अपने आप को इस भौतिक संसार में कर्म के फलों से मुक्त कर लेते हैं. इस प्रकार वे जन्म मृत्यु के चक्र से छूट जाते हैं और भगवान के पास जाकर उस अवस्था को प्राप्त करते हैं जो समस्त दुखों से परे है. ट्रांसलेशन फास्ट कोई पढ़ेगा? हाँ, तात्पर्य. हाँ पढ़ो, हाँ पढ़ो, उर्दू में पढ़ो, सब लोग समझ में आ जाएगा. तो
मुक्त जानदार का ताल्लुक उस मकाम से है जहाँ मादी तकलीफें नहीं होती, मादी नहीं दुनियावी तकलीफें. भागवतम पुराण 58:14-10 में फरमाया है, तमाशरीता ये पद पल नोपलम महत पदम पुण्य यशो
मुरारे भवाम बुद्धेर वत्स पदम परम पदम 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 यद विपदम न तेषाम.
मीनिंग्स की है, जिसने पूरी कायनात को पनाह देने वाले और निजात दहन यानी मुक्ति देने वाले भगवान मुकुंद के कवल चरणों की कश्ती को पार लिया है, उसके लिए मादी दुनिया का समंदर ऐसा है जैसे बिछड़े के कदम के निशान में भरा हुआ पानी.
बछड़े के, हाँ.
परम पद या वो मकाम जहाँ मादी मसाइब यानी तकलीफें नहीं या वेंकुट उसकी मंजिल है, ना कि वो मकाम जहाँ हर कदम पर खतरा है. जहालत यानी अज्ञानता की वजह से इंसान नहीं जानता कि हकीकत में ये मादी दुनिया दुख भरा मकाम है जहाँ हर कदम पे खतरा है. मेरी खत्म हो गई. कम अकल लोग सिर्फ अज्ञान के सबब बार और बार सरगर्मियों के लिए उन हालात के मुताबिक ढलने की कोशिश करते हैं ताकि बार आवर अफाल यानी के वर्ग उन्हें मुसरत बख्शें. उन्हें मालूम नहीं कि कायनात के अंदर मादी जिस्म के साथ कहीं भी बगैर मुसाइब में तकलीफ की जिंदगी नहीं मिल सकती. जिंदगी के मुसाइब यानी के पैदाइश, मौत, बुढ़ापा और बीमारी मादी दुनिया में हर जगह मौजूद है. लेकिन जो शख्स भगवान के दायमा मीन्स और अल्टीमेट खिदमतगार की शक्ल में अपनी असली हैसियत और साथ ही परम पुरुष भगवान की हैसियत को समझता है, वही भगवान की परम भक्ति में लग जाता है. नतीजन वो वेंकट लोक जाने के काबिल बन जाता है जहाँ ना तो मादी दुख भरी जिंदगी है, ना वक्त और ना मौत की रसाई. अपनी असली हकीकत को जानने का मतलब भगवान की नायत बुलंद हस्ती को जानना भी है. जो शख्स जानदार और भगवान का मकाम एक ही सतह पर समझता है, तंग नजर है. इसलिए वो भगवान की भक्ति सेवा करने के लायक नहीं. वो खुद मालिक बन जाता है और इस तरह बार बार पैदा होने और मरने की राह हमवार करता है। लेकिन जो ये समझता है कि इसकी हैसियत खिदमतगार की है, अपने आप को भगवान की खिदमत में लगा देता है, वो फौरन वैकुंठ लोक के काबिल बन जाता है। भगवान की खिदमत करने को ही कर्म योग या बुद्धि योग कहते हैं, या सादा अल्फाज में भगवान की भक्ति यानी सेवा।
Very good. That's why I wanted to take up, so that it's connected with the previous shloka, and it's an extension of the previous shloka. Last shloka, Krishna defined what is second yoga, that is yoga karmasu kauśalam, and we had extensive discussion. So here Krishna is speaking about the destination one reaches when one is free from that karma bandhana. So all that 3 types of karmas which we spoke of. Kauśalam is art, no? Technique, skills. Skills you can call it as. So by adopting that, one is free from karma bandhana. That's what. Unless we finish all that prarabdhas, we will continue to take birth and death. That's what today's shloka also will say. So we become free from karma bandhana of both good and bad karma. So that's why he's saying karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā. Karma-jaṁ is what? Reactions due to fruitive activities, right? By engaging in karma, what is born? Reaction. When you engage in karma, you get reaction. Every action will have reaction. When you do action, you will get reaction. So reactions are due to fruitive activities. Why? Because sakam karma, that is where fruitive activity, you get reaction. When you disown them, then you don't get, right? When you engage it with Krishna and do it Krishnarpanamastu, then you don't get that. So you get reactions is due to fruitive activities, which is of sakam karma. So karma-jaṁ refers to those sakam karma fruitive activities. Buddhi-yuktā. When you do with buddhi, the same yoga, instead of using the word yoga, Krishna used here yukta. We have defined, right? Yukta and all those are the extensive definitions of yoga. When number of times yukta comes, number of times yoga come when we discuss. So yukta is also the yoga. So using your buddhi to connect the fruits of your karma with the transcendence. That is the fruit of work, that is what our salary. When by using our buddhi, we can connect it to transcendence, right? He certainly, when you connect it with transcendence, he certainly, the fruit of that work, means what? When he is adding he, certainly adding, that means what? The person who connects the fruits of the karma with transcendence by practicing buddhi-yukto, by practicing that buddhi yoga, and what happens? Phalaṁ tyaktvā. When he does it in Krishna consciousness, what he'll do? Phalaṁ tyaktvā. They will give up the fruits. They will give up their salary monthly. Fruit. No, don't worry about that. So that is very easy to understand. That's why I keep on saying. So who give up? They is saying they give up the fruit. So who are they? They are manīṣiṇaḥ. Now this is what we have come. We have defined yoga as 2 types of yoga, and we are here. Those people are called manīṣiṇaḥ, and then we'll come to the Nirvedam time, and that will over the point where we have to understand why we have to dovetail everything to Krishna. And that is the central heart of this entire Bhagavad Gita. So if you have understood this part, then entire Bhagavad Gita is how dovetailing your work to Krishna. So who are they? Manīṣiṇaḥ. Manīṣiṇaḥ is defined as great sages or devotees who knows, who have read as per the Shastras. They are the deep thinkers. Manīṣiṇaḥ. Isha is Ishvara. Ishana means Ishvara. Isha is Isha Foundation, Ishwar Foundation. So like Isha. Isha is controller, small Ishwar. And manīṣiṇaḥ is one who has conquered that man. That Ishwar who has conquered the man. So we are small Ishwar when we are part and parcel of Krishna. हम जब आत्मा है बोलते तो हम भी कंट्रोल करना चाहते तो वो छोटे ईश्वर की प्रवृत्ति होती है, तभी हम अपने परिवार को कंट्रोल करो, इसको कंट्रोल करने की प्रवृत्ति हमारे उसकी वजह से आती है. And when we control that our mind, manīṣiṇaḥ, so person who has controlled their minds, mind generally what happens goes to the surface of the thing, okay? And it just catches the surface of the thing. Oh, this is good, this is bad, and we want to take this, right? When your mind, when looks at a particular thing, it looks at the surface of the thing. And this is good and that is bad. But it does not go deep. It does not go deep. But those who have controlled their minds, they can check their mind's tendency and flit from one surface to another surface. नहीं नहीं नहीं, ये दिखने में ऐसा अच्छा दिख रहा है, अंदर से इकट्ठा रहेगा. So many of the times you have that, right? Because of your past experience or because of your, the tendency to understand, these have been ripened up with only chemicals, you will come to know, right? So, and that's what we say sometimes in an expert. So that expert Krishna is calling here as manīṣiṇaḥ, जो अपने माइंड को कंट्रोल कर चुके हैं. They push the mind, these manīṣiṇaḥ push the mind to go deeper using what? Intelligence. Using intelligence. That is where this buddhi-yukto comes in. Using your intelligence, they push the mind to go deeper and discriminate. Okay? Discriminate and see substantial essence of those things, not superficial. Substantial essence beyond the surface, we say. Okay? And see things beyond the surface. And in this way, when they see, they will be able to see the spirit beyond the matter. They will be able to see the spirit beyond the matter. And that is why I said, why in bhautik jagat, because this body is made up of bhautik items, we as a person are spiritual identity, a person, but stuck up in this body which is made up of material item. So unless we compare with the material, we will never be able to understand the spiritual sometimes. That is what is underneath. So in this way, when you control, when you go substantial deeper into it, discriminating and all those, that is where you will be able to go beyond the surface. And similarly, you will be able to go to spirit beyond the matter. And then you will be able to perceive God. है ना, ज्ञान के थ्रू हम ये कर सकते हैं. We have understood, है ना. So manīṣiṇaḥ now and krupana in 2 slokas before. See the contrast. They are opposite, right? Krupana means karma phala for self-enjoyment. You do hyavaram karma or sakam karma, and manīṣiṇaḥ are the persons who are deep thinkers using buddhi yoga, relinquishes the fruits of good, free from bondage. That is where this yukta vairagya comes in, what we discussed last time. Yukta vairagya had come in that, we don't have to leave anything. We have to just connect those things to Krishna, and that will become yukta vairagya. So do not do karma for your own self, rather do it for Krishna, dovetail it for Krishna, and that is what has been written completely in the purport, right? So what will happen if you dovetail it to Krishna? Janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ, janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ. You will get free from bondage of birth and death. So mukta is free, right? Mukta is free. Muktaya we understood yesterday. Many of you were not there. Mukta is free. And vinirmukta is vishesh rupena mukta. Special mukta. Specifically mukta. Vinirmukta. So you become vinirmukta. Janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ. Not even mukta, vinirmukta. That is what you get liberation. You mukta, you get moksha. ये हम कभी आगे डिस्कस करेंगे, but you get liberation. Moksha vadimva, like exactly what we sing in Damodar Arti. So those manīṣiṇaḥ who forego fruits for karma become vinirmukta and attain padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. This is the main word of this shloka. Padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. Padaṁ generally refers to what? Steps, right? Or sometimes where we place the step. But padam also refers to position or a designation. Padam, है ना? आपको ये पद मिला है, बोलते हैं ना? So padam also refers to position and designation. Padam also refers to footsteps or a place where we place our step. That is also padam. Padam yad vipadam, इसलिए वो श्लोक कोट किया हुआ है. तो padam here certainly refers to position. Gacchanty is we go to. Position, we go to that position, which is what? Anāmayam. The position is anāmayam. Maya means what? Anāmaya. Together is anāmayam. So Maya is referring to what? A place which is full of misery and, right? Place full of misery. That's what it will come later on. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This place is full of dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. It is temporary and full of miseries. So they go to a place which is free from misery. Anāmayam. That is what is the eternal place. So we call it as Vaikunta or Goloka. And that's what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in Vaikunta. So the Jivatma, after Vinirmukta, after dovetailing the works to Krishna, getting free from janma karma, Vinirmukta, getting free from this misery's life, attains or puts his foot in the eternal place. Attains eternal place. Vinirmukta. Travels to that place which is free from misery and which is always joyful. Later on you will come Brahma Bhut Prasannatma in 18th chapter you will come. You will come to that Brahma Bhut avastha where you are all happy. So in this verse, Krishna is first time explicitly mentioning about eternal abode.
आप दुखों से आजाद जगह पे पहुंचोगे।
हाँ, तो आजाद जगह है ना।
दुखों से आजाद तो ये स्वर्ग भी है।
हाँ तो नहीं है, वहां तो नहीं है, नहीं है। दुखालयम शाश्वतम ये पूरा भौतिक जगत है।
कहा है जो लिखा है वर्ड
हाँ,
पढ़ रहा हूँ।
हाँ,
पदम बोला है मीन्स मकाम, लिखा है दुखों से आजाद।
हाँ,
उन्होंने कहीं नहीं लिखा कि हमेशा दुखों से आजाद या मेरा परम धाम, जैसे अध्याय 15 में बिल्कुल परम धाम।
हाँ, तो ये समरी चैप्टर है ना। अभी कृष्णा ने अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया प्रभु, उसके लिए भी मैं आऊंगा, उसके लिए। हाँ, तो मैं आऊंगा उसके लिए भी। बट ये आपको जो मीन्स इसलिए तात्पर्य में श्रील प्रभुपाद ने क्यों वैकुंठ बोला है, क्यों गोलोक बोला है, दैट्स व्हाट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. Okay, so you go to that place which is always free from misery and always joyful. Okay, so this is where exactly Krishna has spoken about the destination for the first time. So he has spoken about the destination. There is a place, eternal place, which he has spoken it as the first time, because all this Swarga and all those is not eternal. They'll all
eternal बात ही नहीं मैं कह रहा हूँ, इसलिए कह रहा हूँ eternal की बात नहीं करना। मैं उन्होंने कहा जैसे आपने कहा अभी कि जो मनुष्य वो होता है जो अपने मन को कंट्रोल कर देता है।
Yes.
तो अगर आप योग सूत्र में जाओ तो क्या कहता है, वो कहता है कि मन मॉडिफिकेशन ऑफ द माइंड को रोकना ही योग है बेसिकली।
Okay.
तो वो नॉट मटेरियलिस्टिक है, वो बेसिकली स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे, क्योंकि मतलब चित्त वृत्ति निरोधा, यानी कि चित्त में जो वृत्तियां
चित्त और माइंड एक नहीं होता है प्रभु, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम टेलिंग यू।
कोई बात करेंगे हम।
हाँ, वही बोल रहा हूँ, क्योंकि आप शुरू में भी वही बोलते हैं, बोला नहीं ये चित्त जो है सो कॉन्शियसनेस वो आत्मा की पहचान है, माइंड की नहीं है।
बहुत लंबी जाएगी 10 दिन हमारी। तो अच्छा, मैं ये कहना चाह रहा था कि वहाँ पे वो बेसिकली जो योग की बात कर रहे थे, योग बेसिकली स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे है। अभी जो हम जो है योग देख रहे हैं जो वर्ल्ड में चल रहा है वो भौतिक लेवल पे। जिस योग का जब भी कभी जब पतंजलि योग ने जब योग लिखा था सूत्र, उसका मकसद दुनिया में लोगों की हेल्थ सुधारना नहीं था, क्योंकि वो स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात कर रहा है।
ठीक है ना,
स्पिरिचुअल। तो आप
तो ध्यान योग में आएंगे वो सब 8 स्टेज।
यही कह रहे हैं कि जब मन आपका चित्त वृत्ति यानी जो भी मन में जो भी चंचलता होती है उसको जब ठहराव आता है तो आप एक सुकून वाली हालत में आते हैं, जिसको आप समाधि कहते हैं। तो समाधि में क्या होता है कि आप दुख कोई नहीं होता, सिर्फ पुरसुकून एक आपकी अवस्था होती है।
Okay.
मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ पे
मैंने भी इसीलिए आपको ब्रह्मभूति बोला था, वो सुकून की बात किया था। लेकिन हाँ, मैंने भी आपको ब्रह्मभूति बोला था, तो
बात में
इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ आगे। आई एम टेलिंग यू दैट कृष्णा हैज नॉट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड हिमसेल्फ, दैट इज वेयर यू विल नॉट गेट अबाउट वैकुंठा एंड डिस्क्रिप्शन, बट Srila Prabhupada has written it very clearly. He doesn't want to divert you to Brahma Bhuta and all those. Okay, he wants you to directly to go to their end destination. That's why he's written it very clearly. But that's what I said. You will go to that Brahma Bhuta avastha, or so eternal place. So eternal place, if you think Swarga is eternal, then you will go to Swarga. That's what Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. I did not relinquish my point there. आपकी जो इच्छा है वो कर्मसु। हाँ,
श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन को क्या बता रहे, मैं ये बात कर रहा हूँ।
बता वही रहे, क्योंकि आगे 15वें चैप्टर में वो खुद अपने आप को जब इंट्रोड्यूस हो जाएंगे तब बोलेंगे वही मेरा परम धाम है। हाँ, और जिसके ऊपर कोई, जिसके अंदर कोई ये नहीं है, जिसको कोई प्रकार की दुविधा नहीं है, कोई प्रकार का दुख नहीं है, क्लेश नहीं है, तो ये वही प्लेस उसको रेफर कर रहे हैं, अनामयम का मतलब वही है। आप इसको अनामयम को कोई अलग मत लो, पॉइंट वो है। इट्स ओके, वॉट एवर यू टेक एज टेम्पररी स्वर्ग, दैट्स ऑल्सो फाइन, नो प्रॉब्लम।
मैं कह रहा हूँ, मैं तो मन पे ही हूँ, मैं तो
हाँ तो ओके,
मैं जरूर बता रहा हूँ, क्या मन की उस यहाँ पे उस स्थिति की बात की,
भौतिक समाधि आप बात कर रहे हो,
हाँ मैं ये कह रहा हूँ,
भौतिक समाधि, ठीक है।
वो क्या कह रहे हैं, वो कह रहे हैं अच्छी बुराई को
भौतिक
छोड़
समाधि
के
से
ब्रह्म
आप
में आ जाओ।
फिर आपके, ठीक है, वो भौतिक समाधि आज कोई ले पाता है तो मुझे पता, ये पता नहीं, मेरे को नहीं लगता। नहीं, जो अपना योगी अपना सर फाड़ के जो निकलेगा, दैट इज द सिचुएशन।
चोरी है ये, चोरी तो
नहीं, जो थियरी वही
ये कोई चोरी नहीं, कि सर फाड़ के कोई नहीं निकलता।
नहीं नहीं, उसको वो है,
लेकिन ऐसा नहीं।
शास्त्र बताते हैं।
सर उसको मतलब
हाँ हाँ, वो सर के थ्रू, मतलब फाड़ के नहीं है वो, कहने का मतलब ये यहाँ पे खड्डा रहता है कभी भी, आपको ये पता है ना, ये छिद्र कभी भी रहता है। हाँ, ब्रह्मरंध्र जो बोलते हैं,
ऐसा नहीं।
हाँ ठीक है, we'll not go into that destination because we'll lose the track of this shloka, we'll come onto that. But what I mean to say is padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam, what Krishna is referring to is very clearly, and I'll give to some contrast also, then you will understand why Krishna, like, you know, he's not introduced himself that I am that God only, please. So you have to understand, he said you will go to that place which is full of free from misery. So he's now if you take, now आपके प्रभु के बात पे आते हैं, so the eternality of the soul was till now spoken, right? Till now, eternality in 2.12, he spoke about eternality. The soul is eternal, and attainment of that eternality in terms of amrutatvaya kalpate, है ना? During discussing that amrutattva also, we discussed about swarga and all those, है ना? So he's already discussed about that in 2.15. But eternal place is what is the ultimate goal of life, should be your goal of life, which manīṣiṇaḥ keep, is mentioned for the first time. Padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam, that abode which is free from all miseries can be attained after janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ, which can be attained when one becomes liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Both these are clear references that there is one eternal spiritual world, Sanatan sky, and one which is Bhautik Jagat. And 15th chapter will clearly come to that, you know, those two descriptions about spiritual and Bhautik Jagat. Now you have to understand that, you know, that's what I said, Krishna has not introduced himself. So Bhagavad Gita, he does not clearly say that, you know, this is my abode. He will say it only later on in 15.6, he will say. So that is where you will come to know. But Krishna is simply saying that, you know, you will get the eternal soul, will get the destination, which is like his eternal nature. You will get an eternal place, which is like his eternal nature. That place, which is, you know, like, so he'll get his nature's place. That is what is eternal. So, for that, what the soul has to do, karma-jaṁ, that, you know, buddhi-yukta, that he has to do, dovetail the karma and harmonize or spiritualize the work in transcendent. And that is what is art, we read in 2.50. And phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣiṇaḥ, and by that stage, in that stage, detached from the work, that is how we can become free from janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ and get free from bondages. Now, how to dovetail is one question. Sometimes, you know, a physical example के साथ में समझाना पड़ता है, how to dovetail. Okay, you see daily we are doing prasada. Okay, that example you can give anytime, right? Instead of eating for ourselves, we are dovetailing it to Krishna and then having it. Okay, so like in Bhautik Jagat, if you can give an example, example of a car. A person is going in a car, a person is going in a cycle. Both of their speeds are different, right? If the cycle person has to attain the speed of the car, what he has to do? Okay, that is one of the answer. I don't deny. He has to catch the car, that's it. Yeah, we do that, you know, movies में कई बार ऐसा दिखाया है, बस पैर के कार पे रख दिया and then he reaches. Of course, that will have its own consequences also. If the car fell, it's a break, but then, you know, that purpose is served, right? Car is going at 100 kilometers per speed. He can also join that 100 kilometer range on the cycle. So this is exactly, you know, you can dovetail your driving to the car. So whatever consciousness you are working into, you have to dovetail that to Krishna, and that is how you have to do the work. So a father is asking a child, "Kud beta, kud, मैं पकड़ लूंगा." And how that will happen is how, you know, father बोलता है अपने बच्चे को, "कूद कूद." तो बच्चा सोचता है नहीं मैं गिर जाऊंगा, नहीं डर लगता है, सोचेगा ही नो फादर विल कैच मी एंड ही विल जंप. थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाए उसके बाद कूदो बोल तो नहीं छोड़ दिए तो भय आ जाता है ना. कोई छोटा 2-3 साल का बच्चा he'll jump because he knows his father will catch him very nicely. So so that is where exactly our consciousness has to be simply dovetailed towards the supreme consciousness, and then perfection can be achieved. That is, destination in our life can be achieved. So Krishna with this verse is speaking more explicitly on the results of practicing karma yoga than, so earlier he's talked about swarga. In 2.2 he spoke of aswargam akirtikaram arjanam and hatova prapsyasi sargam, and in Swargadwaram Apavratam in 2.32. So till now he was spoken Swarga as a destination which was being talked about. And then whatever was going on, it was normal understanding of Kshatriya. So you will, so with this you will have to understand that during that time also Kshatriyas had this tendency of doing karma kanda work, going to Swarga, and that is what was their tendency and also. But so all this, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna was on one plane, and now Krishna is brought him on the different plane of buddhi-yukta and asking him to become spiritual, and by starting itself he says 2.42 and 43 that men of small knowledge will go to that heaven. You have to think of going to eternal place which is free from misery and try to attain that padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. So he has given, so destination is spoken, and those are achieved by manīṣiṇaḥ, the sages and devotees. So he is spoken about the destination, but see, means he is giving that same knowledge to Arjuna in both ways. In karma kanda also he gave the same knowledge to Arjuna, asking him to fight, and he is giving the same knowledge by raising the platform to the spiritual level and still giving the same message that please fight. This is what is the beauty of Gita. When I said, when the Krishna is changing gear, when the knowledge of higher gear is coming now, and this is what it is exactly. So the contrast is very clear and emphatic right now. So those whose minds will be abducted by bhoga and aishwarya, they cannot pursue eternal destination, and they will get trapped in this material world of going up and down, enjoying swarga, coming down. They are infatuated or choice to that level, and their spiritual interest will leave unfocused. That's why Krishna is emphasizing that do buddhi yoga, and he says anāmayam, where a place which is free of misery. So Arjuna can keep just fighting to achieve that. That's why he says use all those, don't become a kripana. You have to fight for my cause. So you have surrendered soul unto me, and so you have to fight for my cause. So Arjuna, practice that yoga, that is best for you to fight. So Krishna is raised the discussion to a higher level, keeping the course of action for Arjuna same. That's also beautiful, right? When he was asking him to go to Swarga, also he was asking him to fight. And when he is asking to go to the gacchanty anāmayam, there also he is asking to fight. The course of action is clear. You as a Kshatriya, you cannot leave. Fight. It's your, कर्म करने का अधिकार है आपको, फल की चिंता किए बिना. So that's why in 2.37 he spoke of hato viprapsyasi swargam jitva mokshase bahim tasmād uttishta kaunteya yujyasva kritanashchaya. So based on karma kanda he said that go battlefield and you will get heavenly enjoyment. Okay, for Kshatriyas that is going to heaven is a matter of pride and all those. And in 2.38 immediate next shloka he said that samaya sukṛta-duṣkṛte samaya kritva labha labho jaya jayo. We understood that contrast, right? Just one slok before he is asking to go sarga, and then he is telling here that do equanimously, don't be one-sided, have samabhav and all those, and be equipoised in labha labho jaya jayo, all those, be equipoised. So of course there he gives one thing that tatho yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsasi, he says. Yudhaya, you just for the sake of fighting, fight, at least you will not get papa. He says there. But today, aspect he very clears very clearly, like, doing this buddhi yoga, if you dovetail your activities and get free from janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ, karma-bandhana, then you will certainly get this padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam, which should be the goal of life. Because going to Swarga or going to naivam papyam avapsasi. Naivam papyam avapsasi, okay, I may be free from papam. But what is your happiness? What is your goal? Where you will be joyful? If you go to attain to that place, which is the nature of that, then you will be joyful. So that is where this padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam was the word used. So that the result of achieving with detachment is to go beyond distress, misery, and attain that eternal destination. Okay. Right now, people, Prabhu doesn't want to do it, and that is what we call it as Vaikuntha. And Prabhupada quoted a shlok also. Yeah, that's a very important shlok of Bhagavatam, which says, Samāśrita te pada pallavam plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare. Murare we spoke yesterday, right? मुरारी के बारे में. हाँ, मुकुंद. हाँ, मुकुंद भी बोला है इसमें. सॉरी, मुकुंद भी बोला है. मुकुंद का मतलब बताया, वन हु इज, हाँ, भवाम बुधेर वत्सवम पदम पदम यद पदम विपदम न त्वेषाम. तो यहाँ पे क्या है, जो अदृश्य जगत में आश्रय है और मुकुंद नाम से विख्यात है. मुकुंद मीन्स वन हु इज मुक्ति दिलाते हैं, अर्थात मुक्ति के दाता इज कॉल्ड मुकुंद. यस्टरडे वी टुक एट प्रभु's place where I explained 8 this thing. So yeah, means whatever, every step you take is a danger step. Life, at any step you will lose your life, you don't know. So that is the reason at every step you have to be cautious, dovetailing your work to Krishna. Padam padam yad vipadam, कब विपदा आ जाएगी पता नहीं है, और परंतु आप कृष्णा से कनेक्टेड रहोगे तो ये विपदा आपके गाय के खुर के समान जो पानी भरा हुआ है उसके जैसा रह जाएगा. The moment you dovetail that, ये विपदम कृष्णा के से मीन्स आप करके dovetail कर दोगे, the pain, you are crossing an ocean, but you will feel that ocean is just like a hoof of a cow. When cows walk, the hoof is in the ground, and during rainy season, the water is filled in that hoof, and small children just cross over that. Oh, I have crossed the water. They'll be happy crossing that hoof of water. So we cross the huge ocean if we have just dovetailed on Mukunda. So this is what exactly the only one aspect of benefit where you will not get entangled, but our goal of life is to stay misery free and also joyful. And that joyful nature you can get it through Padaṁ gacchanty anāmayam. And this is how eternal destination would be positively joyful, and it will be discussed in detail in the coming chapters, how it is joyful. But here essentially Krishna reiterates the same course of action to Arjuna, that fight but with a higher motivation. Earlier I motivated you with going to Swarga, but I am giving you higher motivation level, and that is how I use the word motivation in between when we were having debate on various other words. I am giving you an higher motivation with a higher reward and a higher destination. So fight. That is your duty. So किसी भी हालत में भगवद गीता में सिर्फ क्या बोलते हैं, what do you call, अहिंसा की बात नहीं कही गई है. हमारे महात्मा गांधी ने बोला कि भगवद गीता में भी अहिंसा को देखा उन्होंने, तो बात वो है. कुछ डाउट्स अभी? So you are coming to that stage. That's the only reason. I don't want it to keep you too much entangled in terms of, think of this Vaikuntha, only think of that. But at the same time, I cannot keep you aloof also. That's the reason I have to say that. And Prabhupada also says so. We are repeating what Prabhupada says. I'm not telling on my own. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev Maharaj ki jai.